There we go. Great.
Bear with me, my roommates outside. I'm just gonna tell them that I'm presenting right now. So
All right. That was my fear yesterday. We were on that national call, and if I did it in my office, I'd have the sculpture department using their power tools. So we get it. Okay, Fatima, welcome back. Here you go.
I apologize. I had mentioned it before, but I didn't really say what time. Okay, so just gonna go ahead and share this. Hey, so today I'm going to be presenting my thesis project. It's Tiny Homes as Emergency Housing on Martha's Vineyard. So first I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Fatima Ronquillo. I'm an interior architecture and design major with a minor in sustainability. I wanted to work on this project that revolves around the housing crisis on the island of Martha's Vineyard. I have lived there for 7 years and I've witnessed a change in the community due to a lack of housing. And then just overall lack of housing just causes an overall chain effect. With more people leaving, there's less people who want to work for local businesses. The seasons are cut short because there's no one working for them. And because they don't have like a place to live or they just can't find a place, they can't afford it. So that's why I wanted to go ahead and work with a residential project. Then for this project, we are working with advisors, an academic and external advisor. So my academic advisor is Stephanie McGoldrick. And then for my external advisor, he is Michael Kim. I just wanted to give an overall thank you to both of them just for helping me throughout the project up till now, just with ideas, information, and resources to better improve my progress in this project. I'm sure many have issues with like designer's block, so just being able to speak with other people about my project has really helped me out. Now just the project introduction. The project will be a livable tiny house community for those struggling in result of the housing crisis on Martha's Vineyard. The year-round working class of Martha's Vineyard finds themselves in the middle of rising real estate due to the luxurious homes owned by summer residents. The goal is to create a sustainable, livable, and affordable community for those struggling with finding houses. And I just wanted to point out what I mean by crisis. It's just characterized by a lack of affordable housing, rising property prices, and shortage of rental options, which just makes it overall difficult for residents and even seasonal workers to find suitable accommodations. I also just wanted to point out why I decided to go with tiny homes instead of a traditional home layout. The reasonings are it's just prioritizing efficient living, tiny space, tiny carbon footprint. These tiny homes are less energy to construct. And of course, the materials that will be incorporated hopefully will be as sustainable as well. And just overall more affordable. It's tinier. Hopefully it'll be less cheaper rent and less for utility bills as well. So for this project, I'm going to be working with the LEED guidelines. I just wanted to point out some bullet points from the LEED checklist I'm looking to incorporate into this project. Just compact development, site selection, access to transit, heat island reduction, community resources, and environmentally preferable products. I'm not limiting myself just to these. I just wanted to point them out for today's presentation. So for my research, we did precedent, historical, and interactive studies, but I'm just going to point out one specific precedent study and talk a little bit about the survey I conducted for my interactive, because those two were the ones that helped me develop my project the most. So for one of my president studies, it's a tiny home community located in New Mexico. So the reasoning I wanted to choose this project was because it is an existing community. It's not an idea. It's not like a potential emergency housing. It's already developed and it's already functioning. So this one is very tiny. It's 150 square feet. As you can see the layout in the bottom, quite literally entrance, desk, bed, and a closet. And you're probably wondering, where do these people go to the restroom? Where can they cook? Where can they wash their clothes? So in this layout, they have a communal area where they can do all their needs, like restroom, cooking, washing their clothes. So that's something that I wanted to demonstrate as well, because I am looking to develop a community layout further into the project. So this was very inspirational for me just to see an existing project and how they laid it out. So for the survey, I just wanted to conduct a survey just to better understand what the residents' view is. I do have my personal experience, but it's important for me to understand where other people think about the issue. So I'm just going to point out one question that I made just to make sure that I'm also on the right path. So the question was, what do you believe would be the right path to take to resolve housing insecurity on the island, and what would be a good start? Many people just overall said more affordable housing, more year-round housing, just building more houses and apartments. So these are all direct quotes from the survey. And then down here, it says banning Airbnb. I just wanted to talk about this just a little bit, run through it. So Airbnb is a short-term rental. And the reason this was mentioned a lot in the survey is because these short-term rental companies, they make homeowners want to rent out to Airbnb instead of year-round residents. So then that causes the issue of there's no place where they can go. It's just for tourists, or just like seasonal rental, which is just not a secure place to be. People would much rather prefer having year-round housing. So just quick overview of Martha's Vineyard. It's an island off Cape Cod. The year-round population is 17,000, and then it goes to a staggering 200,000 over the summer. The island is home to a Wampanoag tribe and Native American group that thrives on Martha's Vineyard. And I just wanted to point that out because on the island, it's very important for them to respect the Native American reserves and the history that the island has. So that caused some limitation when selecting an area for my construction site. And of course, any new construction and building renovations will require the appropriate approvals of state or federal government that will be subjected to the Massachusetts Historical Commission's examination. So again, another map of Martha's Vineyard. I just want to show what town the project is located in. So the project will be located in Tisbury, which is the town right over here. There's 5 towns on the vineyard, but we're going to be working in Tisbury. And then I just wanted to go over my site plan. So the location is 0 Kennebunkport Ave. And I'm just going to explain what's going on this site location. So basically the purple line is the year-round public transportation. And then the colored dots are schools, grocery stores, banks, and then Steamship Authority Terminal, which is the boat that gets you on and off the island. So I decided to place a LEED logo right on the side of the site plan just to go back to sustainability. Basically, just public transportation. It's closer to a dense area where people can have their everyday essentials. It's cycling distance. It's also located near a main road, so people can feel a little bit more inspired to take that public transportation. For the concept and party, I decided to go for the Quina Cliffs, one of the most stunning areas on Martha's Vineyard. is quina, the quina cliffs. The earth tones, textures, and organic shapes flourish in these coastal cliffs. This idea will be portrayed across the space using color schemes, textures, layering to resemble the cliff's natural features. I did go up to the cliffs and took pictures of the clay and took a picture of part of the cliffs. And then based on that, I made drawings of the cliffs, just a little abstract, which brings me to the party. I'm looking to do just like staggering and layering throughout the building structure. So that is what I am going to be working with throughout the project. And then user client needs, it's just basics, what they need: bedroom, kitchen, restroom, and just to have an overall comfortable space. So structural materials, my external advisor was kind enough to share me this really cool material and construction plan. So they're prefabricated modules that are 10 feet wide and 8 feet high. So they have wood fiber insulation, and just like some sustainability aspect of this material is carbon storing, high performance, highly recyclable, non-toxic, and safe. And then I just wanted to share this image right over here just to, so you can see what I'm going to be working with. So you can see the layers of the insulation, the CLT panels, and the finished layers as well. This isn't my project. It's just an example for now. So that's not what it's going to look like. And then just, I'm going to be doing 2 layouts. First layout will hold a max of 3 people, and the second layout will hold a maximum of 6 people. I'm thinking about the community having an overall of 25 units that can hold a max of 105 residents. And then I have my bubble diagrams and programming. So basically what I was thinking is once you enter the space, you go through the living room, kitchen, and then you have your bedrooms in the back, and then a full bathroom as well. And this is just a little program of what each space is going to have. Bedrooms are going to have a reach-in closet, nightstand, twin bed, a trundle bed, which I'll demonstrate what that is a little bit further in the presentation. Bathroom will have a shower tub, toilet, sink, storage, and there will be a kitchenette with a stove top, refrigerator, sink, and storage. So this is the construction plan. It's a total of 576 square feet. I'm just going to walk you through it. So this is the main entrance right over here. So you walk in, you look to your left, and there's a full restroom with the shower tub, and then to your right, you have the bedrooms with the trundle bed. And then you walk into the living room, you have a small dining space, and then the kitchenette area. So that is the layout for the 1 to 3 people layout. And then I currently do not have a rendering of the space, but I just want to point out what's going on the floor plan so you can better understand it. So this green section right over here, I'm thinking about putting floating cubbies. This is just going back to the party and trying to incorporate it in the concept as well. Just the idea, I'm thinking about doing a linear kitchenette, and then this is what a trundle bed is. So basically you can pull it out and push it back in. It's just, it saves a little bit more space, and you can have an additional person in there as well. Then this is for my second layout for the 4 to 6 person layout. So this one will have 2 floors. So main entrance, it's pretty similar. Main entrance through living room, and then the kitchen, and then you'll have a full bath, and then the bedroom in the back. And then the second floor will have a bathroom and 2 bedrooms. And then the programming is the same as the first layout. So it's just explaining what is going to be in each space. So for this layout, it has a total of 988 square feet. I'm going to walk you through it. So this right over here is the first floor. This is the main entrance. You look to your left, it's the living room, and then you have the restroom in front. You have the kitchenette area, and then you have a bedroom with 2 twin-sized beds. And then you go to the second floor. You have another bedroom with 1 bed, another full bathroom, and then another bedroom with 2 twin beds. And then just over here, I was thinking of adding a deck, just an overview and just adding that layering as well for the concept in the construction part. And then again, these are the same images because I'm looking to do it similar layouts. So just linear kitchenette on the first floor, and then floating cubbies in this bedroom, and then just having a trundle bed in this bigger bedroom as well. And that concludes my presentation. I do get a little bit nervous, so I know I could have run, or maybe you guys have questions of any part of the project you feel like I skipped. Please feel free to give me, to ask me any questions, or if you have any advice, that would be great. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Fatima. Maybe put your slide deck on so we can see it.
Okay.
That way, as anyone has questions, you can sort of scroll through. And I'm going to pass it over to Michael to see if he'd like to share some feedback as your external advisor.
Okay, thank you, and good afternoon, everyone. Fatima, good job, and I will note that it was only a couple of weeks ago we switched the structural concept from a shipping container based architecture to a panelized architecture, which I think gave Fatima much more opportunity to manipulate the space, and the floor plans have begun to take shape. There are a couple of tweaks that I would add, and the first one is I think it is a good principle for any interior designer or architect, for that matter. When you're dealing with a very tight space, and most spaces are tight in one form or another, one trick is to minimize the amount of circulation space, hallways, because they're not used for anything except to get from one place to another. So if you can incorporate that space into the living space, it allows that square footage. And even if it's 25 square feet, when you only have 500 square feet and you're trying to house 3 people, every square foot counts. So one quick suggestion is I wouldn't put the entry on the right. I'd probably put it on the bottom. And then you could turn the bath and have a little extra space in the living room, a little extra square footage. Again, if we get 25 square feet out of that hallway, we're increasing that square footage by a good 12%, very significant. And you'd be walking through the room instead of walking through a hallway. So in general, if you've got hallways that you don't need, that's space that can be used for other purposes. I think your 2 floor scheme's a little bit more successful in that regard. I would probably opt to keep the full bath and bathtub on the second floor, and because you have a bedroom on the ground floor, you want to keep a 3-fixture bathroom, but probably use a shower and then shave a foot or so off the width of that room. Again, even if you're only adding 8 square feet, when you're trying to fit 6 people in under 1,000 square feet, that space will be appreciated. Then, as we discussed in our last meeting, now it's the introduction of light, which really will take place, I think, in 3 dimensions. So you got to get the 3-dimensional model and rendering up, and then that's where you want to punch holes in the walls and in some cases in the roof to optimize where you want the light and where you don't. One nice thing about this modular system is you can basically stick it anywhere, and the other elements of the structure will span entire walls. So you have a tremendous amount of flexibility, keeping in mind that A, windows are expensive, and B, they are not as energy efficient. So you want to strike the balance between light where you want it, and a sense of spaciousness, but not waste any. So there's that element. So I'm looking forward to seeing this done in 3D. A question for the faculty, as this is an interior design project or degree. I personally would rather see detailed development of the look and feel and materiality and so forth of each of these units, with maybe 50 feet to the outdoors. So because especially on the Vineyard, the outdoor living space is part of the living space. But the urban design of an entire community, I think, would take up an extra couple of weeks where you only have a month, and doing everything, pardon the expression, but doing a half-assed job on everything, I think would be inferior to doing a first-rate job on the look and feel of these units. If that's acceptable for the degree,
absolutely. No, I think that absolutely, Michael. And that's where we have to find the balance, of where people decide to focus their efforts. But I think with this type of project and what Fatima is focusing on, that's exactly what she should be doing. I agree 100%. And also the detailing. Part of the requirement is that they do custom millwork details, or not really millwork, but custom details. And especially with this kind of project and how it's all built in, and you want to make it as contained as possible. And I love that you address the square footage. Every single space is so important, and how it's allocated. So that's a great opportunity there.
Yeah, we do have to balance, though. This is affordable housing, and custom detailing shouldn't go together. They do, but they shouldn't. And I would suggest custom in that you get something out of the IKEA catalog and you make sure it fits and gets built in. Off-the-shelf components used in creative ways. It is unfortunate that affordable housing is now one of the most expensive form of housing that we're producing. And we are working very hard, both in my firm and on the Martha's Vineyard Commission, to develop alternative models that are in fact affordable as well as available.
Yeah, I loved the precedent study, Fatima, where they shared the community communal spaces and I remember that from your pre-thesis. And I'm wondering, I don't know, I think it has its pros and cons. That was affordable housing, is that right?
Yes, it is. It's temporary housing. Yeah.
Oh, temporary.
Temporary affordable housing.
Yeah, and that was in New Mexico, right?
Yeah, they sign a 2-year contract, and then they have to renew it if they don't find like a permanent space.
Right. Interesting.
The exact diagram is already on the island on the campsite, which has a communal center space with showers and kitchen and so forth, and the buildings are tents or trailers. But it is exactly the same diagram.
Awesome.
Unfortunately, that's for very short-term housing.
Long weekends.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. How about, is there any other feedback or comments we'd like to share? No? Any of our critics? Thank you. Thank you so much.
How much time is left and till the final presentation?
So it's the first weekend in May. The first week in May is our final presentation.
Okay, so there's 5 weeks, 6 weeks?
About 5 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot to do.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, thank you so much, Michael. Just for joining for my meeting. I know you're busy. and just for the feedback as well. I always appreciate it. So thank you.
Okay, well, and work extremely hard, but you should also enjoy it. I mean, there should be a lot of work to do, and the amount you sweat over it will be remembered, and you will remember. So this is a special time, and you know, give yourself as much as you know, give the maximum effort for yourself as much as anyone else.
Right.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All
Should I
right.
stop sharing?
You can stop sharing, and Michael, you're more than welcome to stay on for as many as you can participate in. We welcome all of our external critics, but as Fatima pointed out, we value your time and we understand if you need to pop in and out.
All right. Thanks for having me.
All right. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. So we have Cami next.
Hello, everyone. He's still not here yet.
No?
Yeah, I can
All
text.
right. Oh, wait a minute. He's in the waiting room. Thank you, co-host. Perfect timing. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Perfect timing, Eric. We're just getting started with and Cami's just going up.
Perfect. Glad to be here, everybody.
Thank you so much for joining. And we're going to have, after Cami does her presentation, we usually lead off with her external advisors' comments and then open it up to everybody else. All right, go ahead, Cami. I will mute.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Cami. I will be presenting my thesis today, and the title of my thesis is CC's Collective Community. This is the content I will be presenting today. This is an introduction of who I am. Who I am is an abstract thinker. I have a lot of passion. I'm artistic, inclusive, and committed. My thought process always is change comes from finding that missing piece. And I want to give a shout out to my advisors, Rose, my internal advisor, PhD, NCIDQ certified, and my external advisor, Eric, senior designer, Bergmeyer. So my project background starts with my clients, which are autism individuals and homeless individuals. My location is located in New Brunswick, New Jersey. I will be reconstructing a senior citizen resource center. The total floor usable area was around 13, and it's located on a park called Blue Park, which is located in the heart of New Brunswick, and it's very accessible to both residents and visitors. So the limitations and challenges I found running into was the limited access to services, also the obstacles with safety and cramped quarters. To the right, we have my site analysis, where it shows the traffic of medium and low traffic during the day. It also shows where the bus transit is located, my sun path, which is located coming from south side. And then down below is my pictures of my site location. And also adjacent to my building is residential, office. It also has a hospital near it, and restaurants. So my design problem, this thesis is very home to me and very personal. I had a brother that was autism, and we grew up in a low income family, and individuals facing disabilities, especially those residing in the class or homeless, encounter significant challenges in accessing essential healthcare services and assistance. So the idea is to embrace the difference rather than label it. So I came up with this diagram where I show the similarities and differences of both homelessness and autism. As you can see, both have complex needs, stigmatization, and vulnerability. So research I did conduct was presence studies, where I studied their amenities that I would love to use in my thesis and also design features I found very helpful that is resourceful to my thesis, and creating inviting functional places for my community. And then I studied the brain, so the typical brain development of regular and then autism brain development. And then I also studied the left brain and the right brain, which is the left brain is abstract, symbolic, training, logic, and systematic, while I studied the right brain, which is creativity, arts, creation, feeling, and imagination. And then I also studied that I'm also a right brain dominant thinker, and I would discuss that more in my concept. So my concept is around autism and its complexity of the brain. So I categorize in 6 terms each part of the brain. So static, high energy for frontal lobe, temporal lobe, fluid flow of movement, brain stem is the freely independent, cerebellum lobe, evolving and growth, occipital lobe is abstract and unique, and parietal lobe is intersect within the brain. So I also investigate the autism spectrum condition using a jigsaw piece as a metaphor to comprehend its complexities, which is more of my right brain thinking side. And as for my left brain thinking side, I designed the advocates for improved access to services and supports for autistic people while showcasing neurodiversity in order to foster tolerance and inclusive. This is my adjacent matrix showing my square footage of my places, my adjacencies, if it's open or closed to the public. And then I go ahead and start sketching, and I create these first diagrams of using the brain, the fluidness, and using my terms to create these. And I finally come to this colorful one, and I start to play around with my interlocking party where I overlap and try to capture my concept of the intersecting and how it interlocks together. So here you could just see the foundation, and then it goes into the greenery landscape, first floor and second floor. And then I go into a deeper diagram talking about my bubble diagrams, where I once again break it into my 6 terms, but then I take the brain and I kind of go overlapping my program spaces and trying to see the fluid and movement, once again, using my terms. And I also separate the spaces within how I want the space to feel within each space. So now for my sustainable strategies, we have LEED certified. So LEED certified, I picked out more so for most of my outside areas, because I do have an outside area too, which is one of my focal spaces. For location and transportation, I have bicycle facilities near access to the public bus stops, then energy and atmosphere, solar panels, then we have indoor environmental quality, materials and resources, we have recycled rubber flooring, and then waste management plan. And then we also have water efficiency, outdoor water reuse reduction for garden space, and then low flow plumbing fixtures. And then I use more well because it is an institutional, and comfort is accessible design, sound masking, water is drinking, water promotion. So there'll be water fountains, fitness, we have a gym. It's also exterior active out design outside within the outside spaces, and then active furnishing. So there will be a sensory wall with a built-in showing my interlocking concept that I will discuss further now. And then for air, indoor smoking ban, because it also is open to the homelessness too. So I just want to put that out too. Then low VOC paints and coatings, cleaning protocols, indoor air monitoring for light, daylighting, brightness management, color quality for nourishment, garden space, CAF, and special diets, especially for the autism individuals, because some do have certain levels have special diets that they do eat. And then for mind, we have biophilia, bringing the nature and natural feeling, and then mental health support, which the nurse office also does, and physical activity and mindfulness programs. So the gym is not only just the gym, it can host events and yoga or any other type of activity. So we have the demolition plan where you can see at first the hatches here that the blue lines will be moved and demolished. So the first one will be demolished and the second one will be moved over to give space, because this is where I run into one of my first challenges, because the second floor, I just want all living area spaces up there. So this is where I first run into my challenge, and I just maneuver more space. As you can see in the block plan, I moved it over and I came up with this natural feeling, following my terms, fluid, abstract block plan. As for my first floor plan, this is my first floor plan. My occupancy type is group 1, and my total square footage of the whole entire space plus my second floor is 59,365 square footage, and my occupancy load is 495. I have 3 main discharge exits, 1 staircase, and 2 elevators. So you start here and you walk in. To the left, you have the elevator. To the right, you would have your reception desk. Then there's 2 main intersect areas within here that are focal points. One here going near the classrooms, and then one here going out into the cab. Then you also have this other huge focal point that shows the concept of the interlocking of the puzzle piece and the jigsaw. So it kind of connects this other form of the circle, half circle, and the other form of the rectangle. And it's an underpass through to the cab. And then you have outside the homelessness courtyard stay. And back here is another piece I added, which was another challenge for more space, which again. And then moving on, this is my second floor, which I said, this is all just living area. So quick stay and extended stay. And then as for doors, I'm using sliding doors because I want to have key passes for everything, because security is big and privacy is big here. So everybody will have a key pass, and also it will help for the homelessness courtyard stay. They will have to, like, if they're working inside the building with resources and stuff, they can work up to getting a key pass to come inside the building and stuff. And then we have the lobby. Here's a key plan showing where it is. It's the same as the title. And then for the sustainable strategies, we have the rubber flooring, waste management plan, and accessible design, sound masking, drinking water promotion. The drinking water promotion is where the water fountains would be. To the right, we have my floor plan. And then to the right, we also have my materials, which I start off with fluid abstract, once again, capturing that concept, coming down from the ceiling with felt to also sound mask. And then we have the built-in on the sensory wall that will be custom made. Then there's a paint, then wood paneling for the biophilia, for bringing in that natural feeling. I do have 2 options for my rubber flooring. I don't know yet. Maybe you guys can help me out with that. And then I also have a custom reception desk to bring in pop-up color, which is also huge here too for my materials. And then this is a 3D sketch view I did of the space to show the curves and how the fluid and the movement of the space feels. And then this is a lighting piece that's also incorporated outside, but it's both. So it also has, you can use it for inside and outside. So it has felt or as its leaves. So it's also another sound masking feature. This is my classroom design with my floor plan for sustainable strategy, accessible design, sound masking, low VOC paints and coatings, cleaning protocols, indoor air monitoring. So as you can see in the back, these 2 don't have chairs, easy access for wheelchairs to roll up to. This is more of a lecture hall class where you will learn more resources. Parents could come in, learn resources. And then this is the ceiling tile I picked out. It's resilient. And then we have felt here for another sound masking. And then this is the paint. And for the sound masking, it would be also on the paint, like a nice design feature. So it would be design showing the abstract pulls. And then as again for the wood paneling for natural fill and another resilient flooring. This is a 3D view sketch of the classroom I did real quick. And then this is the homeless courtyard stay. Sustainable strategy here, like I said, for the lead, it would be mainly here for bicycle facilities near access to public bus stops. And then outdoor water reuse reduction for garden space. That's on the other side. There's two sides. And then solar panels and waste management plan. So you come in here, this is your main entrance, and then this is the entrance into the building, which you would need a key pass for. This is some of the furniture and design features I picked out. So aspects, this bicycle facilities, this is a charging stations big to have, lighting, and also the furniture here, has solar panels on top of it for recharging because it has charging stations within it too. Then the wall, within the wall will be beddings, just double beds. And it will, this is the section cut for it. It will be also ventilation will be also going through it. Heat and cooling. And then we have the 3D view rendered just of graffiti wall, because also the space will be open to drawing within on the walls, because as for them to express themselves and feel home and make it their own home. And thank you. Questions I have for you guys. Am I capturing a feeling of community and belonging while improving privacy and security? How can institutions, architecture support accessibility and inclusion for people with different needs? And then in what ways may the design reduce the possible threats and weaknesses linked to homelessness, including exposure to environmental factors or security issues? I'm big on security right now because that's a main factor. And then are there any main areas I need to go back and reconstruct? Or how can I effectively align my design concept with the flow of materials I've selected? And those are all my questions. You don't have to answer all of them, but thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Cammie. Why don't you put your deck on so we could see the deck as people have questions? Or if it doesn't work that way, that's fine. That way. There you go. That works. Good. And I'll pass it off to Eric as your external advisor to start us off.
All right. Thank you so much, Cammie, for the presentation. I know that you had expressed some nervousness about presenting. I just want to let you know that you did a great job. I want to start
Thank you.
with.
Thank you.
You were consistent, you were clear, so well done with that. Needed to give you those kudos.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And so one of the things, I mean, great presentation. I do love the theme of your layout here with the puzzle pieces. I know it's a huge thing for autism, so I love that touch there. That's very consistent. And that kind of touches on one of the compliments I want to give you is there is a good level of consistency here. I know we chatted a lot about trying to transition from your thesis work into the actual design work, and there being some sort of consistency as far as like design principles and taking those sort of like keywords and running with it. And I think you've done a good job to really begin that. There definitely needs to be another level of iteration to expand on it. But the work is there. It's very evident that you have a consistency in language. So I like that a lot. There was definitely some graphic things that I do have to sort of say need some improvement. Definitely in terms of some spelling, that always double check your work. That is very important. I know that in the areas where you were giving us some of your design principles, you had sort of given us some bullet points and they were a little shaky. Just cleaning up some of those graphics. They're very small, but those details matter quite well because they could distract people very easily and take away from the content that you're trying to express. So just a few small things there that I recognized. As far as your floor plans, definitely well represented. The graphics, again, on those do need some love. I know we talked about the structural grid aspect of things. I saw some of the bubbles in the notations and then other ones got kind of cut off. So again, just always trying to be mindful of making sure that the information you want to express is there and consistent the entire time. And then one of the things too, as we were always talking about this project these past few weeks and then seeing it now, definitely one thing that I would love to continue to work forward more with you, because I think you have a good early start on it, and we've talked about it, is definitely the space planning. There's definitely something really beautiful about you wanting to create a space of like meandering flow. If you want to kind of open, yeah, this is great. There's definitely like that expression is there, and you know, that was huge, something that you wanted to express from early on. And I think you've nailed on something that starts that conversation, but now really diving into the actual spaces and rooms and understanding, well, why are you creating this sort of gesture? What is, you know, how is that impacting a classroom? Or why is it impacting? Are you putting a specific doorway here? Because there are some doors and they're not. So let's definitely dive into figuring out, you know, how you want to enter in a space and how does that connect to your circulation. That way, all of these parts are connected and there's a language there that's consistent and adds on to the consistency of your design principles that you've already started laying out. So I think what you have here already expressed is great because it begins that next level of iteration. I understand this is a midterm, so definitely want to make sure that, you know, you understand that this can be iterative and it can be further developed. So I think space planning would definitely be one thing that I would love to continue to help guide and explore that with you and push you to start thinking about these spaces that you want, the classrooms. Why do you want them in these forms and these shapes? How do you want to enter into these rooms from your corridors? And then also, because of what you're challenged to kind of solve, you know, how do you create moments to stop and be present in that moment and then enter into another space? And how does that help someone with autism? And then also, how does that help someone with homelessness or loneliness? Maybe it's a gathering space. I know you were big on trying to create these family spaces, these moments to like stop and gather. So how can that kind of mix well with your meandering of circulation, and how do you flow into these rooms cohesively? So that would be one of my biggest things that I would love to kind of continue to push you on, because you have some strong bones here and we can definitely get to something really well in the next sort of part of the semester. So and I think a lot of your graphics are very well represented. I like how everything is hand drawn. I'm a huge hand drawing person. I think that's a lost art these days. And I would keep pushing iterations and iterations, keep sketching, keep diagramming. I think this panel that you have here is a great example of you already identifying some of these design principles, even if it's like a water droplet, right? As a graphic piece, you're showing us, the viewer, where that is. And I think in other slides, you may have kind of lost that. So I want you to always remember consistency in graphics is always really well. Because, you know, for someone who's looking at it for the first time or second time, I want to be able to know where you're looking at and where you're talking. So, you know, legends are really helpful. Graphic legends are helpful. Just have fun with it. And I think this is a good page for you to take that and, you know, push it onto your other diagrams as well. So hand sketching, I see it. I love it. Keep doing it. I think it's helpful. Hand to paper is the fastest way to connect your mind. So, and then you can take that into digital stuff and just keep going. I can talk for hours, but I'll leave it at that.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Eric, for your feedback. Great feedback and certainly inspirational to keep Cami moving. How about anybody else? Would anyone else like to add some thoughts to Cami's project?
Yeah,
I can jump in. Hi. Hi, Rose. I am popping in. Cami, I think you did an amazing job. I know we were going to work together, and then I passed you off to Eric, and Eric is exceptional. So I hope you're having a good time. As I popped in, I think there's so many amazing ideas here. As Eric said, you kind of want to organize it a little bit, because while your creative juices and like everything's kind of flowing, you don't want people to get lost in the information. So a little bit of that organization through the pages and keeping consistency from page to page. So if you're going to put a legend on the left side, keep that legend on the left side as people go, so that's easy for people to follow you. But when I was looking at your floor plan, that if you go to slide 9, that diagram of the brain underlaid under this bubble diagramming was so interesting and so intriguing, and I wanted to see how that was translating directly to your plan. So I think I got a little lost when we jumped to like lead and well, because there was a little bit of that disconnect there. I wanted to slide right into the plan and see that kind of evolve. So if there might be a little bit of reorganizing in your sheets as well, but I think a lot of great information here, some tweaking, but for being at a midterm, I think that's amazing work. So you should be proud.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Nicolette. And Pedro, were you going to add some some comments, please?
Yeah, I love the project, love what you're trying to do, and that creativity. I love that diagram. Similar comments, I agree with Eric and Nicolette on everything that they're saying to improve upon. Something I would add is being more deliberate with the curves and, how you're trying to create that path. And, maybe even utilizing this diagram of like how you organize the space and how you do the space planning would be a great touch to kind of connect what your idea is to what that architecture is going to look like. And similar to like the biophilic designs, I mean, biophilia is the kind of mimicking what nature does in architecture. And obviously we'll never be able to kind of mimic the same things as nature, but we can come as close as we can to it. And I think if you do something with the spatial organization and how you are connecting greenery and that materiality to those spaces and actually having a reason for why you're using that material and why you're using it in that specific space, and maybe that's connecting to the specific area that you want, that kind of helps organize and connect those different pieces together as well. So I would just keep exploring that. But other than that, great job.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Anyone else? Cammie, I'm going to also add a comment about your verbal presentation. I know I put a little heat on you to focus on it, and I'm with Eric. You certainly stepped up. Good job.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone. And now we're going to move on to, I thought I saw Cait come in. I know, Carla, you can, yep, here's Cait. Great. So Carla, go ahead. You're next.
Okay, I'm just gonna share my screen. Can you guys, okay. Can you see my screen?
Now we can, yes.
Hi everyone, I'm Carla Pina. This is my thesis project. It is the Lotus Haven, and it's an assisted living facility. I just want to say thank you to Rose for being my advisor, and thank you for Cait for also being my external advisor. So thank you again for helping me with my project. So my project background, this is a site.
Carla, sorry,
Yeah.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but all I can do is see my face on your presentation. So
Really?
yeah, because I think it's just that you have the where you took the crop, so you could just see the everyone's pictures. So just do adjust your PowerPoint.
Okay, let me see. I think it would have to be on the app.
Ah, there you go. Perfect.
Okay, so this is my site. It is located in Brockton, Mass. It is built in the 1900s. It has a built-in conference and an office space that was remodeled in 2018. It is located close to Massasoit Community College and Brockton Hospital Medical Campus, as well as shops and establishments. This building is recognized as a local landmark, and it already includes 112 parking lots with dedicated space for handicap parking, as well as elevators for accessibility, which would be very helpful. And this is my exterior of the plan, my building. And then for my president studies, I worked on Cordwainer Assisted Living, which is located in Norwell. It has 2 floors with many private rooms and suites. It has a total of 54 units for residents and it has different it has different spacious living such as housekeeping, medicine management, transportation, and social activities. It has all 5 senses that are satisfied by indoors and outdoors garden, and it also has accessible to a fitness center. And then for my second place, which I did clinical at, is Heights Crossing, which is located in Brockton. It opened in 1997. It is designed to feel like home with beautiful landscape, courtyard, balconies, and patios for private gatherings. And it also has a library and for reading and relaxing. So I kind of wanted to include that all in my building. And this facility has about 100 units, and it has 59 units are for traditional units, and then for the 21 units are for special care, such as like Alzheimer's, dementia, and etc. And this is my pictures. So this is my site now. So this is my first floor. As you can see, it has like an open concept and a couple of walls, and it already has like the built-in conference room, like they stated. And that's for my first floor. And for my second floor, which is on the right, it also has an open concept, a couple of office spaces, which some of them will be used, and some I removed the walls. And that's for my second floor. And now for the client and the goal. So the senior community low-income members who do not fulfill the Medicaid eligibility requirements will be the clients of this program, which will offer reasonable price assisted living facility tailored to their needs. As they become less independent and more dependent on care, seniors who need assisted living look for companionship, security, and help with everyday tasks. This group seeks out communities that offer individual care, a friendly and inviting environment, and it's easy to access to amenities, activities, and medical care. Therefore, the main objective is to just establish a setting that promotes independence, freedom, and a happy lifestyle while providing the required help and support. So the goal of my thesis project is to build an affordable assisted living. I plan on addressing the financial challenges that the senior community faces and making ends meet. Given the yearly rises in cost due to the lack of funding, assisted living may not be given as much consideration in low-income areas. I have worked as a certified nursing assistant for 6 years, which is why I decided to create an assisted living. I currently work at assisted living in Norwell, and because I deal with seniors, I have firsthand knowledge of what occurs. I want to build a comfortable and successful assisted living for them, and since the community is expanding, the senior community, I want them to find a dependable place, and that's why I became interested in institutional design. So for my block diagram on my first floor, so for the red boxes, which will be for the workers areas, for example, like the kitchen will be for the kitchen staff, the laundry room, the nurse, the charting, the storage, and the reception area and the seating area. And then for the resident area, which will be like the bedroom, the family suite, the dining room, the living room, the activity room, the bedrooms, and like the bathrooms. So for my concept, I decided to do the lotus flower because it represents strength, purity, and rebirth. The flower's daily cycle is blooming in the morning and then closing at night, which is considered to represent life, death, and rebirth, and is one of the world's oldest flowers, and it thrives in challenging conditions. And this assisted living aims to provide a supportive and nurturing environment for older adults to flourish despite facing difficulties. So as you can see at the top, these are my lotus flowers in the different colors that I will be incorporating in the facility. And then this is my sketch. This is something that I was coming up with. I wanted to create kind of like a pond style in the center of my building, but I didn't know what I wanted to do yet. So I kind of wanted it to open in the morning and then have it close at night, which you'll see in the following slides of how I decided to create it. So this is my new floor plan. The arrows point to the focus areas that I will be doing. So this is my first floor. And I have my entrance, which you can see the 2 entrances at the bottom. Wish I had something to stick with. The reception area, the seating area, a mini cafe, like I said, and then you can enter the facility, but like the residents will be at, because that will be locked. And then you can see the activity room, the living room, the bedrooms, the dining room spaces, and then you can also see the lotus flower pond in the middle. And then for the second floor, has the same layout, which you will see the circle, which I will show you on the following slide what that is. And then for my reception area, I have my furniture, which is from Kowolu. And so all my furnitures are from like a senior living. They all sell senior living like furniture. So it's all sustainable, durable, and it's the right height for the residents. And it all comes like all the chairs has arms, which is a safety for the residents. Once they're getting up, they need that support. I have my materials, which is light walnut that will be placed on the chairs, the arm. And then I also have another material that will be placed on the sofa that would be, that is from LDL Interiors, an environmental leather print, which is called Champagne. All this again are sustainable. And then I also have my 2-person reception desk with drawers and my task chair from Knoll, which is sustainable as well. So this is my Lotus pond. So this is a second floor view. As you can see, there's an opening and you can see it from the second floor. And on the right side, I kind of got the inspiration from Bob's Furniture in my job. Since Bob's Furniture in the middle, they have like a mini pond in there with the fountain. And then they also have fishes swimming around. So when I met with Cait, we kind of came up, she kind of helped me come up with the idea of maybe have fishes in it. And then maybe the residents can have an activity where they can feed the fishes, which I thought was really nice. I will have a gray stone wall. And then for my sketch, so on the first floor, that's where the pond will be. As you can see, the lotus flower. And then there's a dining room with a wall. So along that wall, I want to have another gray stone wall, but that will have plants. And then the opening for that, around that opening, I kind of wanted to add moss so I can bring in that biophilia feeling. And then I will also have walls on the second floor, which will have a glass wall. So the second floor residents can view the pond from the second floor without having to go downstairs and seeing it. And then on the top, it will have a roof and which will have windows so that could bring in that natural lighting towards that pond. So for my residents, bedroom and bathroom. So as you walk in, you will have the dresser, a recliner chair, the bed frame, and a nightstand. And I was thinking of doing the bathroom, maybe instead of having a swinging door, have a barn door, because that would be easier with wheelchair users. I also have a vanity, the toilet, and a roll-in shower. And I also have this wall next to the shower, which I will create shelves on the other side of it. So these are also the furniture that I picked, which is from Heckman, also senior-friendly furniture. I have my bed frame, my dresser, my nightstand, and I also got this recliner because the residents tend to sleep in the chairs a lot. So I wanted something that it could be comfortable in. I also have this bed frame. It's height adjustable with underlighting. I didn't want to be a fall risk to the residents, so I wanted something at night. If they wanted to get up and go to the bathroom, they already have like a nightlight kind of situation going on. I have a barrier-free ADA roll-in shower for wheelchair users again, which will also have a chair in the middle, well, on the side, so they can sit and relax while they shower. I have ADA toilet from Kohler, Lowe's ADA bathroom vanity, which would be friendly to the wheelchair users. And most of the residents bring in their own furniture, so that's why I wasn't really too. This will be for residents that don't really want to bring in their own furniture and want the facility to provide them furniture. But most of them bring in their own furniture. So my dining room. So in my floor plan, I decided to create a casework on the side in a kitchen island style. And I left this little space open so I can kind of create like a glass wall so the residents that are in the dining room can still view the lotus pond. And then these are also the furniture that I'll be using. Again, same thing. All the websites I use are sustainable and are senior-friendly furniture. And this is a stacking armchair, a height adjustable dining table for wheelchair users. And I picked my wood, which was antique cherry. And the fabric that I picked is durable durable, sorry, which is from Momentum Textile, and it's called Fiona, and it has like that lotus flower print on it because I wanted to bring in the concept more. And then I also have my Appletini furniture. I mean, Appletini fabric, sorry, seating. And thank you. Any comments or questions?
Thank you, Carla. That was great.
You see me?
All through the details. Add your stack, if you can, your slides, and we'll open it up to feedback from, we'll start with your thesis external advisor, Cait. I think Cait, can you talk, Cait? Are you driving?
I can talk, but I can't get my video to work.
All
Oh, there it
right.
is. There we go. Okay. Well,
Great.
good work. Yeah, thank you. Good work, Carla. I thought it was a great overview of your project. I got to hear much more detail about some of the backgrounds today than I did yesterday, so that was really wonderful, or the other day to hear that. I really appreciated the financial component of some of the inhabitants, right? So everybody deserves a nice place to retire to, or when they need assistance. So I think that that's really important, and I appreciated you talking about that a bit. The overall layout of your board I thought looked really great, or all of them, I should say. Your concept I really loved, and I would love to see you add that more to your board layout. The petals, water ripples, and there's a variety of ways you could do it, but I think it's a really could be very strong concept, and I feel like as you move forward, I would encourage you to add that detail somewhere. Even if it's just an outline of petals, like something next to the name on your boards. The overall layout's coming along nicely. I have to say, I have some questions about the entry into your building in relationship to its existing site, because there's the 2 sidewalks and then there's the parking lot in the back. And so I feel like as you move forward, I would encourage you to really analyze who's entering where. So, and is there a way to differentiate, right? So we talked a little bit about delivery to your kitchen yesterday. That's all, I think, working well. But I didn't really get a good understanding when I was talking to you yesterday, but I got better today. Looking at, there's sort of like an existing vestibule, right, on your structure.
Like on this slide?
Yeah, but even like the pictures of the outside of it. Yes, thank you. So, but then you're not really, you're almost putting something there that's not an entry. Is that true?
Where over?
So there's the corner that we're looking at in the lower left picture. But then when you go to your plan, what is in that corner?
It's a family suite. So I went back and looked at the interior. There's actually a space there. But I don't know why. Yeah, so I was kind of confused on the floor plan as well. That's why I went back in, and then I decided to add the family suite there. So I thought that would be a great place to add that. But it's kind of
or a conference room. I guess that was one of the things that I didn't understand yesterday was entry for the variety of users and how it relates to the site, right? Because you figure, I don't know that much about how busy those streets are that this building is on, but it's worth thinking about, you know, if the rooms are looking out to the streets, or how people navigate getting into your building, right? So you want to make sure that that is self-evident in some way. So that was something I thought that as you move forward, I would encourage you to just make sure that everything's where you want it to be in relationship to that detail. I thought the FF&E looked great. It was a great starting point for all of that, all appropriate. All the materials look good. I love the water feature. I know we talked about that yesterday. I think there's so much to that, the sound, the visual, there could be some lighting. There's so much that I think would be really beautiful inside, especially if they're on a busy street outside. It really gives them almost like a little oasis inside, right? Some solitude, some peace of mind. So I encourage you to do that as one of your focal points going forward. And I think that's a really strong feature of yours. I wasn't sure about the barn door as far as accessibility for people. I guess I don't have a lot of experience with barn doors and these types of facilities. So it would just be worth looking at the hardware of that. How is the ease of that? Is it easy for people to use a variety of strengths and heights and abilities, right? So the look of it would be lovely, but is the hardware of it accommodating to a variety of users?
Yeah, because I remember talking about the barn door, and then I was like, oh, my job kind of has that, and it kind of is easier with the bathroom because the wheelchair users. Because sometimes when you're coming out the door, the door it's not like it doesn't open by itself, so you
Yeah.
have to keep pushing the door and then pushing the resident and pushing the door and then pushing the resident. So I was like, maybe the barn door would be easier because it just stays open, and we're in their room, so technically they kind of always have the door open in there.
Yeah,
I'm
so
like,
it might work. I don't know that much about it, so I just encourage you to double check all that to make sure that's the best solution. But I do think that there's a lot to what you're describing that could
Mhm.
make a lot of sense in that scenario. Lastly, I just thought about the recliners that you're providing. I looked at those chairs and I know we talked about it. Sometimes the people in the rooms want to look out the window, right? And they don't have a lot of opportunity for privacy or to observe the world around them. And right now they're sort of backed up to the window. So could you find one that maybe
Oh yeah,
swivels?
I'm
Um,
definitely fixing that.
yeah, I know if I were in one of these facilities, I would want the capability of looking out the window occasionally,
Mhm.
even just to pass the time of what's going on and this car always comes by at this time. I don't know, those kinds of things. Again, some of the living spaces don't have the outside view. So if that's your only outside view, I just want it to be something that is thoughtful about how long they may be there and what they're looking at. And and again, I don't know about a swivel with someone who has balance issues or physical concerns. You don't want to lean on something that's going to move. So I don't want to encourage you something that's going to be challenging to people, but I just felt like to give them the opportunity to move it in different directions might be a nice feature for that chair in particular. Overall, I thought it was really great. I'm really excited to see how it progresses. And I thought you did a really nice job of walking us through all the information. And I always really love when people read all the writing. I know some people want like the bullet points, but I kind of like hearing students read all of their written words. So I think you did great. Thank you, Carla.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Cait, for your feedback. It's interesting because some of the research, Carla, that you had done was actually with having a connection to outside. So I think Cait's comment really, hones in and it validates your research that
Mhm.
you had done. And it's nice too that you work in this facility. So you have observational research that you're privy to that a lot of us, don't have that firsthand experience, like dealing with the door issue, getting in and out, mobility. That's, from working in a facility.
Mhm.
Great. Anybody else have comments for Carla? You feel like you're ready to move on, Carla?
Yeah, Kate kind of answered my questions because I had questions, but I was thinking, should I ask about the barn door? But she already answered that.
I actually have an idea for you that we just did for our patient room project, and it's actually a glass door that's censored. And it's I can't remember the kind of mechanism, but it's lightweight and it's easy, and they're using them in a lot of hospitals now.
Hmm.
So it solves the problem. It's a little pricey, but you might as well put it in. I mean,
No.
it's might as well.
Is there anything I should change about my pond, or is that fine?
I think it needs development. I love it. I love the idea. I love that it's a moment. It's something to go and do during the day. I love the idea of like feeding the fish, and just having a calming experience. I think it's a great idea.
Okay. Thank
Yeah.
you.
All right. Thank you so much. All right, you stop sharing because your Zoom share was a really funky. I don't know what it was. It's just different. Okay, we are cruising right along. So we're a little bit early, but we're going to keep going to Rolph. Saw him. Oh, here it is. Okay. And Pedro's here too. So we're great. Rolph, you can go ahead and share your project. Do I need to call Rolph? Where is he? All right. I think he might have just got bumped out, or maybe he's coming back in. Let's see. Oh, there we are. Good, good.
Can everyone hear me okay?
We can.
Okay, perfect. Right when I clicked, right when I opened up my mute button, it just like completely just reconnected.
That
Okay,
always happens. Go ahead. You can get started. Thank you, Rolf.
thank you very much, of course. All right. Okay. I look a lot darker than I am. But thank you guys for joining today. I'll be presenting my midterm thesis project by me, Rolph Museau. I first want to give a big shout out to my external advisor, Pedro. He's been helping me throughout everything since last semester. Well, since the beginning of semester. And he has been truly helping me a lot with all the definitions. We met a lot trying to get some things done, and it's been a great time. So I just want to give a shout out to him and also to Rose, my external advisor. So to speak about what I'm going to be talking about today. So my entire progress is about shopping malls and how they're all going vacant. So if you guys haven't heard about my project before, I'm turning vacant shopping malls into residential places, business centers, and also some stores, restaurants, but also including some gathering places as well for church folks, and as well as some gathering centers for that sense. And going into the space, something that I really want to think about was the homeless in the community. So I know that a lot of things that's happening right now is people are turning vacant homes into certain places that can really be um, um, well for the community. But I really wanted to focus it on the homelessness and how we can really use these spaces for something a lot greater than just people that want to put their money in some places. So this is why I wanted to bring that up with this sense as well. So the location that I'm going to be using is Emerald Square Mall in North Attleboro. If you guys have been there, it's a very big mall. And it's very beautiful on the inside, but unfortunately it's going vacant with a lot of the stores closing and a lot fewer people actually getting there. Right now, there are only there's a Macy's stores there that's still working, but that's still going out of business. But as they're trying to bring that up, there's entertainment there, apparel stores, wellness and beauty, sporting goods, footwear, some food and drinks area, and this entire space is completely shutting down with certain things that are happening with some stores. And with these places going vacant, it is in a beautiful location, as you guys may see here, as it is right in the location where there is a lot of different stores like Lowe's and Dick's Sporting Goods and Best Buys and Savers and Target. There's a lot of stores around it that can be used for other things, which is why this location will be perfect to put a residential place or a business center, because you're still going to be able to access all those stores, even if you're not in a so-called mall. So this is the existing place right now. This is how it's mostly located. So the space is very huge. It's basically made with Sears and Macy's and JCPenney as the bigger stores. And then in the inside of the store, there's multiple different ones that is located throughout the space. But the space is mostly known for how grand the opening is right when you're walking into the mall. So the things that I wanted to focus on is how it can be in multi-use building. So going into their having wellness centers, something that they can use frequently, affordable residence, business centers, and also an event and gathering spaces for church organizations. Going into this, I wanted to make sure that I'm really diving into the best way possible to give everyone a chance to really create a beautiful space. So with that, I decided to use the WELL certification, and that's going to be thermal comfort, sound, material, mind, community, air, water, nourishment, light, and movement. And all this space is going to be in the mindset of making sure everyone can come together, especially how we can bring in the homeless together to honestly just teach them how to get back on their feet and how they can really go back into learning something new and to growing to the person that they are meant to be. So going into a little bit of codes. So a little bit of codes for like the main area, there definitely has to be drinking fountains, something that can be used. And one of the places that we're going to be using is a company called Ready Refresh, a company that is able to bring in the water right from there where you can use coolers and other different things and bring in that right in there. I'm also going to be using accessible routes such as ramps and other stuff that they can get around for ADA and multiple different things as well. In that space, I'm also going to be using a green indoor space and outdoor and residential and church gatherings. So for that, definitely places that they can be using for wheelchair spaces and ADA bathrooms, and especially for the residential, definitely has to have enough space for a full bed and ADA appliances. And for that, for the gathering spaces for the churches, there has to be offices and some meeting rooms. There's also some classrooms for them to. Going into a little bit of my concept. So the concept that I chose for this project is Tetris. So Tetris is actually a meaning from Greek, meaning four. So four is basically bringing four elements together and combining them together to make one. And I think that's a beautiful thing when we talk about in a spiritual life of connecting everyone together to make it in a way where we can all not just come together physically, but also in a mental way where we can grow together and learn together, and also not just us as humans, but also as the buildings are able to come together and make a beautiful space where you're turning a mall, something that is completely separate, but bringing in apartments, church gatherings, and other places to bring those and combine them together. And on the right here, you're going to be able to see some drawings that I made, adding into the next page here. So the sketches that I made was able to show you guys how I was going to be able to overlap those, especially on exterior, adding those in, and how I can bring in the colors of Tetris and how you can overlap those certain ways, and also bring in some balconies and adding all those throughout the space as I'm continuing to work on the project. So a little bit of a bubble diagram. So the things that's going to be shown, there's definitely going to be a lot of parking everywhere, as a mall is. But I'm going to have Zen garden, residential units, indoor garden, fitness gym, open offices, restaurants, boutique markets so that everyone can use. And also at the bottom here, the auditorium and church gathering spaces. And all these will be accessible because everything's right open from below where you can see everything accessible from the top. So a little bit of present study. So all these three elements here were actually, especially the ones on the top, there are actually two malls that were created. So the first one on the left here, that is a church in South Carolina. This is one of my best artists on there. And he actually turned this entire place into an entire church. And this is a beautiful place because you're able to put something as big as this into a local area where you can invite people to come in and use the space however they would like, and find like-minded people like them. And on the right, it's a place in Taiwan where they completely demolished the mall that was there and turn it into something that was useful for everyone that's in the local area, as a pond and multiple different things that they can use. And at the bottom here, you guys may be able to know this one from Boston is the Ink Block, that they're able to have apartments, but they also have a store in there that everyone can use like a shopping mall. So with this here, now this is the proposed plan that I thought of. So I will completely be demolishing everything right from the inside, including all the stores and everything on there down to just the columns in there. And that will allow me to really create the best way possible to have egress, and also going into where it will be perfect to have people living, but also have the right amount of space for them to shop as well. So going into there, I have a little bit of explanation right here that shows you what I'm gonna have in there. So I'm gonna have 1-bedroom apartments, 1 bedroom with the loft, 2 bedrooms, common area, some stores, fitness center, boutique market, and the other space right in the center here is going to be open to below. Now, these are the main focus that I'm going to be focusing on in my project. Now, with egress, it's something that was very important, especially talking about code and at a mall that's being transformed into a residential place. So I wanted to make sure that all throughout here, and which I could show here too, even if I have all apartments here, I'm going to have an opening here that people can walk through and not just have a long hallway of things. So I'm going to use that sense to make sure that everyone's able to get out freely and go into some exit decharge and find the exit very quickly. So some inspiration photos for the entire space. Now, what I wanted to have is definitely some places where you can reuse certain elements like wood, and have a lot of beautiful places where you can have ponds and open spaces where people could come together as one, and have a lot of places where people can gather together. So now in the center here, you're gonna see how there's a ramp. So I'm gonna make sure that there's a lot of ramps throughout so that everyone is able to access many different locations without just going to an elevator or using the stairs itself. And this will be used throughout the entire space. Now, in terms of the residential space, very much minimalistic and linear as well to connect with my concept. I'm going to be using the windows in terms of block windows to tie in with the Tetris. And a lot of greenery everywhere. It's something I really want to implement, especially for the WELL certification. Now, to focus on the residential area, I'm going to be using a lot of wood, a lot of block, and in space here, I want it to be a welcoming space. Right when you're coming from the outside, you're welcome with a lot of different things that is able to show you that this is somewhere that is not only accessible to anyone, but also affordable. So I'm going to be using affordable materials that's going to be like wood, and also certain things that we can find in a local area as we found in the space, especially in the location that it is. Now, going into the space here, this is one of the ideas that I have for the 1-bedroom apartment. So going in right there, you're going to be able to see, as you out here, you got a closet, and you also go right into the living room space, up into the windows. And you also have a seating area here that you can use for a desk or anything like that. And also right into the bedroom and bathroom here, that's also down there. And that's all going to be in this location up here, all the way on the top, and also down here that you're going to be seeing. And this is a little bit of an idea just to show you guys what it's going to look like. But in terms of the wood and materials that's going to be used throughout the space. So in the 1-bedroom loft, this is how it's going to be. That's going to be look. So with this space, you're going to have a lot more space in the 1 bedroom, and you're going to go up to the 2nd floor where you have a bedroom suite for the loft. And then right below that is actually going to be a Zen garden, which I'll show you guys below. And then we also have the living space and the office space as well. And this is how it's going to look like with this space here. So the entire space is going to be all suite up here. And then with the office space and all these different things, that's going to happen right there. Now, when we talk about the green garden, that's going to be located where the old Macy's is right now, the old men's Macy's. And that will completely be open to everyone. So right when you walk in there, you're going to see a waterfall element to reuse water. That's going to be found through rain and other materials right there. And it's going to be flown right through the space to give accessible water to all these plants and everything like that as well. And just a little bit of elevation to show you guys the Zen garden. So the Zen garden, this space right here is the loft. So the entrance to the loft where you can go right here, and then the stairs on the inside going up top. And then the Zen garden, that's going to be right here. There's plenty of space right there. That's going to be 7 feet tall. So just enough for someone to walk through. And throughout the space, you're going to be able to be led with plants and water, and also access to sunlight that people can use throughout the space. Now, for the church gathering area, I wanted to make sure that it's not just for a church gathering. Let's say you want to have a church here every Sunday, you're able to have this on a Saturday, but also if you want to have an event on Friday, you could have something right here as well. So it's not just with a place where it's only for church gatherings. It's not just for anything like that, but you can always have concerts there. You could have something else there to really bring in the culture of gospel and everything that's going on there. So that concludes my presentation. A couple questions that I have for you guys is, especially with the mall, one of my questions, how I can provide security for the tenants while still giving them access to the stores on the same floor. And the stores will be accessible for the public as well. So that's one of my questions. And I'll ask the other question while I'm here too. For natural lighting, I know that's something that's going to be tricky with those, especially the rooms that's on the hallways. How you guys think I could bring in natural light throughout the space? And that concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Rolph. Why don't you go to your slide deck so we can see your whole presentation? And then I'm gonna toss it over to your external thesis advisor to start for some feedback to keep you moving. Pedro.
All right, so a lot. You have thought about this a lot. We've had a lot of conversations about this project and how it can evolve. I think there's still a lot of work that you have to do to kind of move this forward. I think you have a lot of ideas that are great. I think now you kind of need to start putting them together, building those pieces. If we go back to the plan. Yeah. So you were talking about natural lighting and how you can kind of go in there. Right now, in that image that you showed before, there is a natural skylight that goes across the entire space. I think that is the major way of how you get that natural light in there and you kind of do that borrowed light. You might have to start thinking about, can you do additional skylights and can you have 2 rows of skylights if you have apartments going up all the way to the top? I think I would personally like to know more about how these units are coming together. I would like to see like an elevation of how these pieces are acting as Tetris along that whole space. I mean, it's a very large, almost 600-foot span that you have. I think I want to see more of that. But there's just, you have a lot of potential with this project. That's why I'm excited for you on how this can like keep growing and expanding. I just want to see more. It's almost like I was left wanting more on how you had like this presentation. It's just like, I want to see more. I want to see how you develop it. But some things that I did, you talked about the block windows and how you would try to incorporate that with Tetris. I'm not sure if that's necessary, especially if you're trying to do that borrowed light in some of those spaces. I would almost start looking at it not as windows, but almost as going back to like a mall, but like a storefront in some of these spaces, especially in the community spaces. You don't want to do block windows. You probably want to do larger storefronts in those spaces. So that way it's more open. It feels more welcoming as well versus punched openings. Punch openings kind of seem to be very small and not as a deterrent, but compared to a storefront, not as welcoming. And I think we want to know more about how this is all going to come together. And this floor plan, I know that you have this all color coded, but I think we want to see more of those spaces and how they interact with each other and how, the stores that you're doing or how that fitness center, where you're entering. I think that's the other path. We want to know how you're actually going through the spaces. How does someone enter the entire space? How do you walk through this space? I think that's the next step on developing more and more into this project. We want to see how everything is connected, especially because you're trying to make that connection to, creating the space for the homeless and everything. How do they interact with your space, and how is this building creating the community within itself? Similar to that ink block, they have the storefront, they have the community garden, they have the apartments up above, but everyone's connecting down below. It's like start thinking about how those are the interactions. What are the interactions that you want to create for the people that are in the space? But other than that, I mean, you have a lot of really good pieces. It's a great jumping off point, and I'm excited to see where you keep moving forward with this.
Thank you, Pedro.
Great, thank you. Anyone else comments for Rolph?
Comments, but I feel like I want to bring this one up so that if we need to shed light on it, we can do it now. Like, and maybe Abby, you can speak to this, teaching hospitality, but you know, for guest rooms, we always have to have a window. It's code, like you can't have one without a window. So what I'm wondering, and I want to make sure we catch it now, is some of the apartments that you have like more on the interior, I'm not sure that's possible if you don't truly have a window to the outside. Is that, am I off or am I on with that?
I was thinking that too, Steph. And I don't know if a skylight would count. If it's
No,
above.
I don't
I
think it
didn't think
does,
so, but
I see Jill
yeah.
going, no, Miss Codes now.
yeah, it's Jill.
Yeah,
Okay, well, I just wanted to, like I said, most of my comments I'm saving, but I want to make sure we had consensus on that because I know that will, you know, maybe significantly change some of the residential unit layouts that you've had in mind.
yeah,
So
no, it's a
storefronts
really good,
help with that sense.
Say again.
Having like windows on the on these right here. Having the storefronts here so they can connect with the natural light on the outside, or you mean like they all have to have a window to the outside, like right here?
yeah,
Yeah, I think it's window to the outside.
Okay.
yeah. The other thing I was thinking too, on a totally different topic, but I think because you have so many pieces moving and going on, I would love to see a stacking plan so I could see where everything is and a section through. And that would sort of how you were asking about the natural light, and Pedro made a great point. We have that beautiful atrium there. So if you slice it down and open it up, it might just make sense to look at it that way. And then we see sort of your concept, how it all can sort of link together that way in section. So I think instead of looking at it two-dimensionally, I think maybe if you just go that way, it might help synthesize a lot of these pieces.
Okay.
Especially with these programs, Revit, SketchUp, it is very useful to see things in 3D. I mean, we're visual people, and I think that helps you organize the space if you start looking at it in 3D versus in plan, you know, because this mall also, the floor to ceiling heights, they're a lot taller, and you can play around with that. If you're removing the floor plates, you can now start looking at where you want to place them. How do you actually make this look more like your concept and party if you start looking at it in 3D and in section and in elevation as well when you're going through? And how does that, can I distinguish between a 1 bedroom and a 2 bedroom just by looking at an elevation? You know, is that something that you want to do? I think it'd be very interesting in on how you showcase that.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Thank you, Rolph.
Sounds
We've
good.
given you a lot to think about and work on.
Yes, thank you very much.
All right. Now we have our last presentation today is Abby, but I know Nicole isn't quite here yet, right? Did you hear from her, Abby?
I haven't heard from her yet, no.
Okay. I feel bad. I don't know what to do. Should we just do a quick 5-minute break and give her some time to get in?
I mean, we could, it's recording, right?
Yep, it is.
We could just send that to her.
Well, just because
Unless you guys want to wait. I don't know. I just want to get it over with.
Why don't we just send her a quick email? She's probably there and just waiting to sign on, like maybe, you know, so.
Okay.
I can send her a quick note.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a bathroom break.
Thanks, Cait.
Any luck?
I sent the email.
Okay.
We'll give her, a minute to see it.
Okay. Sorry.
I know they had the business leaders breakfast this morning and she was going to that. So probably between being gone for that and then getting back into the office, or if she,
And she switched for us because Cammie's advisor had a meeting. So Nicole switched yesterday.
Mhm.
I feel bad.
No, she probably preferred that, like, again, because I know she had the thing this morning.
Yeah, they had the Senate, no, was it not president? Was it Karen Spilacco was there, right? Yeah, Senate president.
Yep. I'll be
Yeah.
interested to hear how it all went.
Yeah, yeah, me too. I'm glad she went.
Yeah. Yeah, they had her do like a welcome address or something or speak, so.
Perfect. Perfect, perfect. Oh, I think they're going pretty well so far. Sorry, Abby, she's nervous, panicking. I know.
Okay.
So, Steph, they said that we have to reserve it via the admissions office, right?
That's right, yeah. You should just ask, well, I don't think Lawrence did the reservation, probably the provost's office did it for the architects.
Yeah.
But
I'll just reach out because I think that's a nice
Mhm.
place to have our final presentations for thesis.
it's the right size too. It's big enough to hold a good amount of people, but it's not like overwhelmingly large.
And I like the screen. And the nice thing is visitors can park right out there. There's nice accessibility.
Yeah.
Actually, we should get Abby to get it for us because she's a RA in that dorm. Yeah.
In Balsam? Are you in Balsam?
And awesome. Yeah. We want to use the admissions room for a thesis.
Was that to me? Sorry.
Yeah.
No, that's okay. Yep.
I was like, you're not listening.
No, I
That's
was trying to distract myself on my phone. That's how stressed I am.
Oh, you shouldn't be.
No.
I know. I don't know. It's just been a while, I think, since I presented, so.
All right.
Let's give her till 3:20 and then maybe have Abby start.
All right. Sounds like a plan. It didn't seem, oh, here she is. Here she is.
Perfect.
She heard us. Good,
Wait,
good.
I didn't see it. It's not popping up.
I think it just popped, she just popped in. She's joining.
Great.
Awesome. Nothing like pressure, but that was awesome.
Ugh, I'm gonna throw up. Oh,
Hi,
alright.
Nicole.
Hi.
Thank
What's
you.
funny is I was like, oh, I'll probably just log on 15 minutes early in case, I just got back to my desk and saw Stephanie's email. So it was perfect timing.
Awesome.
Great.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, Abby, why don't you start?
Oh, I think my connection's poor. I gotta go.
Stop. Take a deep breath. It's gonna be
Oh.
fine.
All right. Okay. Did I go? Okay. Hold on. You guys don't see your faces, do you? Cool. Okay. So hello, my name is Abigail Cronin, and today I'll be presenting my senior thesis, A New Model for Hospice and Palliative Care. Before I get into myself and why this project, I would like to thank both of my advisors, Stephanie McGoldrick and Nicole Ward. Stephanie has helped build me to the designer I am today over the past 4 years at the university by providing opportunities to always better my design and challenge my creative thinking while dedicating her time to not only myself, but several other students. Nicole is not only an associate interior designer and BBJ in Boston, but she also helps several other students as she is the vice president of the student engagement community for the IAD New England. She also has generously dedicated lots of time to helping and supporting me along the way throughout this project, making sure that I have all the resources I need. Now to give you a background about myself, I'm a senior at the University of Massachusetts Dartmouth in interior architecture and design. Before I turned the page into this chapter of my life, I was at Bridgewater State University on a pre-med track. During the course of COVID, I decided to take a leap of faith to what I thought would change my path of life drastically by studying design. However, it turns out it will not be as big of a change as I anticipated. I originally had decided to go into the medical field as I saw it was a more practical choice at the time, as I didn't think design was. So I decided to follow in the footsteps of many family members in wanting to make changes on what I had seen in my experience in all the medical facilities I'd ever been to. My reasoning, my best friend, my papa. He was in and out of palliative care centers for the last 2 years of his life battling cancers. With my family members directed as medical proxies and witnessing my dad as a power of attorney for him, it was hard enough time that I wanted to make changes and help people in the future combat these difficult times by providing the utmost care to their loved ones like I'd seen my family do. However, after about 2 years into my undergrad, I still had the longing for design and had remembered how my papa always encouraged me to do it, as he knew deep down like myself it was my passion. So I took the leap of faith to apply to this program, and I was in. Flash forward to this year, I reflect on my journey to where I am exactly right now. I still long to provide for those in similar situations watching their loved one in an adult facility and ask, how can I make that change? So today I dedicate my project in honor of my papa, Charles Cronin, and as a gift to my family and the supporting care staff that helped us through the grieving process but also grieved with us. Without further ado, I introduce my project, the St. Charles Hospice and Palliative Care Center. This will be designed as a medical hotel that enables patients to recuperate under a physician's supervision in a non-hospital environment. This serves as an alternative to costs of full medical care supervision bills and opens more beds in hospitals that need them. The staff needed in order to provide this service will include their own physicians, attending physicians, nursing staff, and other administrative roles. Through my research findings, as well as personal experience, I found that the facilities are a mentally taxing environment, not only for the patients, but as well as the family, friends, and care providers there to support their patients through their last lengths. Dealing with mental health in the stages of grief, I wanted to see how people felt. I decided to send out a survey to a wide cast of people and found that their time in these facilities, they felt sad, alone, confused, and gloomy. One person even feeling guilt as they felt their family member was, quote, a prisoner at the facility as they witnessed the physical environment drained more life out of them. Lastly, I found that all facilities are required to meet ADA code, however, they don't meet the universal design standard. So how do I make the change that I set out to do? In further research, I discovered this model. I began analyzing the hospice and palliative care models and who the chain of care was. It began with the patient, then the family and friends, and the care provider. I then questioned who's there to support the care provider when they feel all else is against them and they don't have support for themselves. And that's where my care center comes into play. For my concept is unique that each group will have their own part to it. In my partee model that I still have to make, I'm sorry, Stephanie, the sand dollar is the patient, which is the center of the model. It represents rebirth, Jesus, peace, and transformation. The seashells, the tiny little conch shells that you can find on the beaches there, represents life and love. These are their family, how they express their love to them. Lastly is the sea glass. This represents renewal and healing, and this acts as the healthcare workers. So lastly, looking at the model, where does my healthcare facility come into play? I will be the resin that holds everything together. While implementing my design, I will be using the WELL certification standard. I have highlighted everything that I will be doing, but just to kind of like give you a few bullet points. I will have things like antimicrobial materials, breathable materials for bacteria and mold spread contamination, healthy meal options for everybody, accessible design, as well as universal design, and workplace and family support services. To go into the location, my care center will be in Kennebunkport, Maine on 140 Ocean Avenue. It currently sits as the Colony Hotel. It was created in the late 19th century, but unfortunately it was burnt down and was rebuilt to what you can see in the images to the right. I don't have floor plans. I have the fire plans, so it's to my best of my ability. Its location is approximately 27 minutes to Southern Maine Healthcare Hospital and 28 minutes to Maine Behavioral Healthcare. Other close amenities that it includes, it is 3 minutes to downtown Kennebunkport, 1 minute to Colony Beach and St. Anne's Church, and 35 minutes to the Portland Airport. So shown here is the official site plan that I actually found when I went to their town hall in the archives. The past owners originally developed a North and South campus, but at this time, I'll only be using South Campus that is starred on the map over here. And later I hope to develop more onto North Campus eventually. Okay, so as I take you through my floor plan that I blocked out by user spatial needs, I will be also going over my programming. And then I'll go into my focus areas and my intention behind the design and how I implemented my concept into those. To start, I am keeping all exterior walls and egress paths as they all reach the institutional code. The first floor I am calling the wellness floor, as it's primarily focused to family and care staff. I've divided the care staff into 2 sections, green and yellow. The green is more primary and means they're more accessible to the family and patient, while the yellow is secondary, more administrative role. Okay. In the second floor, also known as the palliative care floor, we're seeing a shift in the color and direction of who the spaces are designed to. Oh wait, let me go back because I didn't explain what they were. Oopsies. Okay, so here's how you enter. So over here is a carport. Can you all see my mouse?
Do you have the annotate tool? Maybe you can use that.
Ooh, a laser pointer. Can you see it?
Yep.
Yes, you should have access. Perfect. Good, good.
Okay, so
I know there's a way.
Here's where the family will enter from. It has the carport and access ramp so that
You're on your second floor, Abby. Go back to your
This is so embarrassing. Okay, so you enter through here, which is the carport, and then they have accessibility with the ramp on the side to get into the reception area. Over here in this large room is the grand living room, and also I'm using it as a waiting area, so it's more private and you're not just sitting out in the open. Over here is the staff wellness wing that I'm going to be doing. So there's counseling services, one-on-one areas, and then here is the wellness room that I'll go in more depth on. Here's the daycare center, so parents can just go over and drop their kids off. It's also more quiet over here. And then there's bathrooms and then medical storage space. Over here, it's only accessible through the outside is the church. And then you have the pastor's office, more storage, and then a one-on-one confessional area. Over here, more bathrooms, medical storage. This is the back of house for the cafeteria dining. Here is the serving station area and then the dining area. So going over here is the staff and ambulatory entrance through here. And then this is also where staff can enter because this is locker and storage space for them. This will be a kitchen and dining nook for them, and then a desk stationary for them to do their charting and notes. I added an elevator for them so that they could fit a patient in like a hospital bed to go up to the main floors. Right, that's that floor. Okay, second floor, I started talking about seeing the shift in color and direction. So this top right area continues with the staff space, but it's administrative. So it's closed off like for everybody else except medical care and administrative roles. Continues up, and then over here is more medical storage. Continues with the same in the bathrooms, just carrying up to each floor, obviously. And then the green stations are the nursing stations. Within them are partition walls for any medical care staff that needs like a private moment to just like calm down if they're dealing with something or just like had a loss of a patient and they want to deal with it privately. And then the blue spaces are the patient space, the patient suites. Each floor has 18 and they're all within 510 to 530 square feet. And then my third floor plan is for a hospice and it holds the same requirements as the second floor that I previously shown. Okay, don't judge my chicken scratch drawings, okay? So for the reception, I will be building this custom reception desk. I began to break down the sand dollar and analyze from different perspectives. Looking at the natural curvature of the shape, I'll be creating this curved greeting desk as the edges of the shell are imperfect. I'm going to incorporate wood to act as these ridges within the shape to add like texture to it as well. To fulfill the ADA code, so if someone's in a wheelchair and they roll right up, the counter will sit at 34 inches and then the staff for 28, so then they can put, they're going to be using iPads so you can't see anything. For materials, I plan to incorporate terrazzo flooring that is filled with shells and sea glass that mimic the surrounding beaches as well as the family and staff within my party. Not only will this be a reception and reading area, but it will also act throughout the corridor to act as wayfinding to navigate through the spaces that are open to the family and then closed off for staff only. And then you can see in here that like this is where they enter and then they can go off through the hallway, which would lead to the daycare or the elevator and stairwell or into the grand living room. So now the grand living room and the waiting room. This is for the families. My goal is, while it's a public space, to offer more personal areas within here for guests who may need a moment to gather themselves and wishes for privacy. With this in mind, I'm going to include furniture pieces that have higher backs and are able to swivel in a different direction so that if people need that privacy, they're able to do so in the open space. There will be built-in bookshelves along opposite walls here that have more information on literature, if depending on what the diagnosis was for their patients, so they can learn more information on that. And then for my next millwork piece, I actually took like partial inspiration from, I don't know if she's in here, Casey, her lighting design project from class. I thought it was really pretty, and so I made a twist on mine, and I want to include all elements of my party in here with sea glass and like the shells and sand dollar, and just allow that to help act as a navigation above all the furniture as well. So the patient suite is going to have a hospital bed that is able to look like a seamlessly like built-in area, and it's easily accessible for healthcare workers that I drew here. It has like built-in bedside tables, and then also like picture nooks so they could put their own personal photos in there to make it a little bit more personable. There's also like a sleep sofa for someone to stay, because in my research it said that it's better for someone to stay with them. And so having that option, if a loved one or the spouse wants to stay, I thought was really important. Over here, I included a bench built in for additional seating for when more family comes, and then a kitchenette with a fridge, microwave, and stovetop. And then I have seating area that they could pull up to in a wheelchair, as well as more seating for family so they can all have a meal together. All right, and then my last room is the staff wellness room for materials and like still focusing on the antimicrobial and like breathable materials. I found this really pretty sea glass performance wall covering that I want to really incorporate. My aesthetic goals for in here is for the staff to feel like they're in a serenity almost, and to mimic the grand living room, but not be in there with the patient's families. So they're not coming up asking them questions. They can have their own space and own moment as well. And yeah, that's what I have. So I guess I have a question, I guess, on my wellness room, and like I'm kind of stuck. Like if I want to do more like rectangular furniture because sea glass is more chiseled, and then I don't know. I guess I'm just getting stuck on that. So I don't know. That was my question.
Thank you, Abby. Why don't you go to your slide deck? It was a nice presentation. I love the beginning and your the reasons why you pick, what you're doing and how you started your career in the medical field. And I hope, I have my fingers crossed, you'll stay as a designer for the medical field.
Yeah,
But I'm gonna open it up. Yeah, I'm gonna open it up to maybe start with Nicole. Don't mean to put her on the spot as your
Oh,
external
no.
advisor for some feedback.
Yeah, no. Well, I know this has been like you've been working on especially like trying to get the plans and things like that. But I echo what Rose said. I think your purpose behind the project and your concept, like it's so, I think ultimately, like we always find, like when it's so personal to us, it ultimately turns into a richer research and
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
personal experience for yourself. So I think just how you've broken down that sand dollar, and like I know when in one of our sessions we talked about like the five, like how there's like the holes and it's like the 5 stages of grief and like all of that. So I think your concept and your like early stuff is really there, and now it's how do you take that and integrate it into your plans and your overall design. I guess some kind of feedback I would say is, if you go to your second floor, maybe as an example, one thing I would encourage you to think about is how can you get a family respite zone on both the second and the third floor, because they may not always want to go all the way down to the first floor, but they might still want to get out of the room for a few minutes. So,
That's my bad. I skipped over that. So,
okay.
Right here, the purple areas, I was gonna have like little like rev down seating areas.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to make them more private though, I guess, since they were kind of in the open. So I guess that's the question I have.
Yeah, first observation, I kind of feel like there's more nurse stations than you need. So you might be able to do like one larger nurse station, like keep this one as like a larger, more centralized one. And then it might allow you to get more typical patient wellness rooms. Because right now they're kind of, while some of them are kind of, this, yin yang or like this, interlocking, there's some of the rooms are a little funky in their shape, right? So it's like thinking about how you can clean that up. But I know these are all, I mean, you're just starting the process, right? So I think there's opportunity there, and maybe you might find that in doing that, it opens up a pocket of space. Because I think even though you've tried with these little alcoves, which I think keep the alcoves, these moments, but I don't know that they're big enough of a respite space for what. So that was just some thoughts on the plans, but I know they're a work in progress and they will be up until probably the end. And then just in your room, and as you get into the rooms, I think the next good step for you will be to get, in your Revit model and get things to the scale that they are. And I would encourage thinking about like when you were talking about like the sleep sofa and things like that, I wonder if there's a way to kind of use that bench at the bay windows and like create like a innovative thought on a sleep sofa, like multi-purpose, multi-function, because it's like sometimes you might have just a couple visitors, but you might have your whole family there. So it's like, how do you make the rooms as functional as you can for all sorts of families? And so I think that there's like so much opportunity that you're just starting to scratch the surface on. But I think your inspiration, the sense of place to Maine, and just kind of some of the pictures you've started to pull, definitely layer into that kind of coastal vibe that is kind of up there. So I would encourage you to like just continue to build off of it. So hopefully, if I think of anything else, I'll jump in, but that was what jumped out at me as you were going through. And also, I would just say, I know obviously it's nerve-wracking because it's like probably your first big presentation this semester.
Yeah.
Just go in it with like, you've done so much hard work. We're all building off of it for you're going to be building off of this for the next like 4 months, 5 months. So
Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
Great. Thank you so much, Nicole. Nicole gave you more time. You only have 5 weeks, so there's no more months.
Oh, sorry. I'm like, when is the semester over?
No, I know. I'm just being fresh. The reality check. Chop, chop.
Like 4 months.
Yeah.
4 months. Yeah. Unless you want to stay longer, Abby, we'll keep you.
Yeah.
I'm still in January mentally, so that's probably why I said 4 months.
Yeah, I know. Anybody else? Any other comments or feedback for Abby as she moves forward? No? You know you're going to get feedback from the 3 of us, your team. Yes, we're going to sidebar that. We intentionally have made it that way, Nicole, so we didn't go on and on. That's why we ran short.
That's
All right.
okay.
Yeah. You feel like you're in a good
Thank you.
place, Abby? You feel like you're ready to move forward?
Yeah. I need sleep first. Like I'm gonna sleep tonight.
I'm sure you and everybody else.
Yeah.
Great.
Well,
All
thank
right,
you so much for coming, and thank you, everybody.
Great. Thank you. All right.
So far.
Yay, group 2 is done. All right. So now we have a little bit of a break. Thank you again to external advisors for your ongoing mentorship to our students and everything that you do, from not only meeting with them regularly, but participating today. They wouldn't be where they are right now without all of you. Anything else? It's a really nice group of presentations.
Yeah, I think I have the same comments as last time, but I'll reiterate it so you guys all know. Like, I think you're presenting really well. The development in all the project is really exciting, and it just makes us want to see more. And yeah, I like I mentioned, I've made notes, so it's not that I didn't have some things to share, both positive feedback and constructive criticism, but I can share that with you in our meetings.
All right. Okay, so now we have a break till 5 o'clock. Is that right? Do we start back up at 5? Yeah. All right.
Good luck, everybody.
Thank you.
You'll get through it.
Thank
Nicole,
you.
how was this morning? Did it go well? The
It was
breakfast?
good. Yeah, it was
Okay.
great. Yeah, hopefully, I don't know if anyone else on the call got to go this morning, but yeah, no, it was good. We had a good time.
Good.
And
Good.
we were able to celebrate Krista, and I know several of your folks have made it up here for the advocacy. So, and
Yeah.
we'll have our day in the hill on the 11th. So hopefully some people can come up for that. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I wish I could have been there, but I'm glad to hear it went well.
Yeah. So,
Okay, good.
all right. Well,
All right.
have a good little break. Good luck with their last group.
Thank you so
Great.
much.
Thanks so
Alrighty.
much.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.